Welcome to Q&A with the Vegan Atheist. This video series answers many of the questions that you, my fans and critics, have for me. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section below. Thinking back on my upbringing, I was never pressured to be religious. However, I was brought up in a Catholic home. We were a family that went to Mass only on special religious occasions such as Easter and Christmas. I was always skeptical of religious institutions such as the Vatican, and my atheistic thoughts began with the realization that the priests, bishops, cardinals, and popes, who were supposed to be the living embodiment of Christianity on earth, failed often and miserably. From pedophilic priests and the church's cover-ups to outlandish claims of miracles, my skepticism of religion and the Bible grew. I thought that if the men that lead the church today are fallible people who lie, cheat, and manipulate, why would I think it any different in the past? How could I trust the early church and the men who created the Bible? It all came to a head nearly 3 years ago when I began to watch debates on YouTube between Christian apologists and atheists. And the more I watched, the more I realized that I had no rational justification to hold on to the promises of an afterlife and a God. After watching every debate I could get my hands on, I moved on to listening to Christian and atheist podcasts. I learned from professional defenders of theism what the best arguments for God and the supernatural were, and I found them utterly unsatisfying. An atheist was born, and I desired to help others come to a similar realization. While I can see this as being a potential solution to the mass slaughter of billions of animals, I do have a few concerns that make me wary. 1. Are the animals used in the research and development of lab-grown meat? 2. Once a marketable product has been produced, will live animals need to be used in an ongoing capacity? 3. How many resources go into producing this product? What is the ecological footprint of this industry? 4. Is this lab-grown meat sufficiently healthy? In particular concern would be cholesterol, saturated fats, and negative health effects of animal protein on human diseases. How expensive will such a product be? If it is a high-priced item that the large majority of people on the planet cannot afford, then who is this going to be marketed to? I honestly see no reason for this product. As a longtime vegan who used to love animal products, I enjoy eating my vegan food and don't feel I'm lacking anything health or palate related. I refrain from showing my face and name for a number of reasons. Firstly, my position on religious and supernatural claims can have real-world consequences, and I am concerned for the safety of my family and friends. Secondly, my atheism and veganism may negatively impact my ability to earn a living. I want to keep my professional life separate from my YouTube activism. While I understand that many pet owners love their animal companions and many treat them as extensions of their families, I am opposed to domestication and therefore cannot support pet ownership. Animal shelters around the world are full of unwanted, often abused abandoned animals, and many are euthanized because adoption programs cannot handle the volume. I would only support pet ownership through adoption, but I do not support further breeding. Pet ownership possesses additional problems as well. Pet food. When a person undertakes the responsibility of caring for an animal, one of the fundamental requirements is to feed them. As a vegan, I find it morally problematic to justify the death of cows, pigs, chickens, and fish to feed a cat or a dog. Why is the life of a pet worth more morally than the life of a farmed animal? It's a difficult issue, and I would definitely not advocate starving pet animals, but there is no easy moral position here. We created a problem in which there is no good solution except to end the cycle of domestication. My reason for being vegan is primarily the moral issue of animal use, not animal treatment. I support vaccinations. The overwhelming evidence shows that they are safe and beneficial, so why would I object to their use? I don't take the flu shot because, unlike other vaccines, this particular vaccine is a best guess on which of the many strains of the flu virus will be circulating during a given season, and there is a low probability of catching the specific strain. I reject the debunked claim that vaccines cause autism and are unsafe. If you have any concerns or questions, ask your healthcare professional. When I was 13 years old, my mother experimented with vegetarianism, and after 3 months, I decided to try it out. I didn't become a vegetarian for ethical, health, or environmental reasons, but instead entirely on a whim to experience something new. My father shortly switched as well, and we became a vegetarian family. As the years went by, I began to do more research into the health benefits of a meat-free diet. I looked into the environmental consequences of eating animals, and eventually delved into the moral issues of killing sentient beings. After 7 years as a vegetarian, I visited the Toronto Vegetarian Food Festival for the first time and realized that not only was I not alone, I had never yet met a vegetarian before, but that I could no longer justify eating dairy and eggs. I went vegan on the spot and have never looked back. After 12 years as a vegan, I ponder why it ever took me so long to make the switch. Vegetarianism is plagued with many of the same issues with eating meat. All I can do is live my life to the fullest and accept my destiny, be it a life after death or an ultimate end. The promise of heaven is a pacifier for a troubled realization that life is short and precious. We are incredibly lucky to be here on this small rocky planet for a short fleeting moment, and what may or may not happen after our death is unavoidable, so there is little to do but keep on living life. Green. In a situation of starvation, I would be fine with someone eating an already dead animal, since in such a grave state one has a responsibility to oneself to survive. If instead a person with means and access to food comes across a dead animal, I believe that the remains should be buried and not consumed for a couple of reasons. 1. Potential health issues including parasites, disease, and harmful bacteria. And 2. Eating the animal further entrenches the notion that animals are foodstuff and ours to use. Would you eat your pet? Would you eat a deceased loved one? Many will not understand this notion because animals as food have been fully entrenched into our minds and society, and it is incredibly challenging to change our perception. Wow, how to choose? Well, right off the bat, I'd have to say Mormonism is definitely high on the list. The reason being is that it's a relatively new religion, and we have a lot of documented evidence on how it was created and by whom. We know a lot about Joseph Smith and the early church formation, and it's astonishing that anyone today follows it. It's one thing to believe in a religion that is thousands of years old and believe that the evidence is lost to the passage of time. It's another thing to believe in a religion when we have first-hand accounts and historical documentation that demonstrates the disingenuous nature of the founder. On top of it all, Mormons believe some batshit crazy things. Native Americans are actually direct descendants of Israelites who traveled to the New World by boat circa 600 BCE. After the resurrection, Jesus visited North America. Kolob, the planet on which their God lives. The magic underwear that provides protection against temptation and evil, and many, many more. Scientology is also high on the list. This modern cultish religion founded by L. Ron Hubbard, a science fiction writer, is also home to a lot of bizarre beliefs such as 75 million years ago, an intergalactic ruler called Xenu shipped off aliens to Earth and dropped them into volcanoes and detonated nukes to ensure the death of these extraterrestrial beings. The alien souls called Thetans were made trapped and confused on Earth and eventually latched onto mankind. I'd say you couldn't make this shit up, but obviously Hubbard did, and people actually believe this nonsense. Mormonism and Scientology do not have a monopoly on crazy. Look no further than their ridiculous accounts found in the Abrahamic traditions. Transubstantiation, the actual changing of the Eucharist into the body of a dead Savior Jew. The Noah story, in which 2 of all animals were saved on an ark to protect them from a global flood. A man who was supposedly 100% man and 100% God being sacrificed to himself for a descendant's sin. Talking animals. A vengeful genocidal God who somehow is defended as being the essence of love and goodness. Death to apostates. And many other tales that are either incredibly improbable, fanciful, or outright counter to our understanding of science. This is by no means an exhaustive list of the crazy found in religion, as one could spend their entire life outlining the absurd, ridiculous, immoral beliefs found within all systems of supernatural belief. Got a question for me? Leave it in the comment section below, or send an email to veganatheist@hotmail.com. If you haven't already done so, check out my website, forum, and store. On TheVeganAtheist.com, you will find all past videos, resources, and links. On the Vegan Atheist Forum, continue the discussion with fans and critics. Here, everyone is invited to share their perspectives, ask questions, debate, give feedback, or just say hello. If you are a staunch theist or meat eater, I would love to have you come and present your case for God, your holy book, or your non-vegan position. And lastly, check out the Vegan Atheist store, where 100% of the profits are donated to secular charities, podcasts, and grassroots activists. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, show your support by giving it a thumbs up, sharing, and subscribing to my channel here. Subscribers get notified the moment a new video is uploaded onto YouTube. Also, follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus pages. All links are in the description below. Lastly, check out my channel where you can find all my other video series, debates, and lectures.